Gotta go here and I have to. There we go. Well, you can see today is our second session. So I'm hoping that because of all the information that we shared last time, I kind of thought it might be best if we take the next step and kind of moving ahead here. Let's see. I have to get my slideshow. Right. Are you seeing all of my?
6 of them.
Yes.
Yeah, you only need to see one.
So at the top, click on from beginning. Gail, on your menu at the top, click
Yeah.
from beginning over on the left.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's see. I lost it, so just a sec. Okay. So not here, but where do I? I'm sorry. Let me do this.
If you move your mouse to the far left
Yep.
and now go up right there,
Okay, right
where it
here.
says from a little higher,
Oh,
Right under file.
little left.
From
in the
beginning.
beginning. There we
Perfect.
go. Thank you. Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah. So I just thought we should talk a little bit about what we're going to cover this time and talk about is stress a message to us, and then the 4 functions of healthy stress. And then to remember that as we go through this, we're not eliminating we're eliminating unnecessary stress and anxiety, not all anxiety. And so as we talk about this, it's really important that I let you know that sometimes when I talk about stress, we think of that as kind of light anxiety. But both stress and anxiety, if you've been diagnosed with them, it's very important that you try these techniques, but also that you follow up with your doctor. Or if you're feeling a lot of unnecessary anxiety, that you begin to seek help. So I just kind of want to get that disclaimer in here. So what I wanted to talk about is just like, is stress a message? So if we look at stress, as this is one of the kind of tiles that I particularly like is stress, someone trying to repair every situation solo. And so sometimes it really means that if we're stressful, remember, if we're talking, we're releasing that hormone into our brain that actually helps us heal and move ahead. So that one and this one, stress is a message. It's a personal invitation to make a change for the better. So this is where I kind of wanted a little feedback and kind of talk about if people feel that stress is a message to them. Or when they are stressful, are they feeling like they're all alone? So what do you think? Does that affect some of you?
Do you want me to pause the recording?
Yes, please. If we look at the purpose of stress and anxiety, though, so this is good anxiety, right? So there is that thing about bad anxiety. Bad anxiety makes us do things, right? It's the fight or flight response, makes us use drugs or alcohol, makes us not want to get up in the morning. And really, if you have a high case of anxiety, it's debilitating. It takes, a long time or a lot of energy to do that. But if we look at good stress, and we'll talk more about bad stress because we've come through a year, where there's been a lot of stress, a lot of difference of that. And you'll see that in the video that I'm going to show too. But purposeful stress and anxiety actually is quite healthy for us. It boosts our brain power. And so that you begin to think, if you have a stress or anxiety, you begin to think of doing things differently. And I think about when I was in college, I wasn't somebody who was real structured. Now, I know that's a surprise to all of you, but I am not a structured person. And so like if the test was coming or the paper was due, I could pull it together and get through it, right? And sometimes I would find different ways to do it, right? And so actually it boosts your brain power. It causes you to actually have short-term immunity. So when you have stress, you're certainly kind of concerned about your well-being, right? You stop doing some of the things that do that, but you have some immunity building. So stress actually motivates you to succeed, which you don't think about. But if you didn't have that anxiety, you probably wouldn't even take on some of the projects or tasks that you have, right? So it motivates you to succeed. It makes you more creative in that. So you find out other ways to do things. And it makes you stronger. So we don't think about anxiety and stress as really purposeful or even good for us, but there is good anxiety and stress. But last week, you heard me go through everything that was bad, right? All of the problems that we have from stress. So I want to show you this video. And Pastor, I think I'm just going to let you do it because I tried it and I know we did work our way through it, but if you could just put it up there and show it for us, that'd be great. It is about 14 minutes long. So it's going to take up a good amount of our time today, but I thought it was worth it.
So Aaron would need to end your screen sharing quickly. There we go.
Here we go. Oh, there's going to be an ad. Can you skip the ad?
Sure, can you guys hear it?
Not yet.
Okay. Did you hear that?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
I have a confession to make. But first, I want you to make a little confession to me. In the past year, I want you to just raise your hand if you've experienced relatively little stress. How about a moderate amount of stress? Who's experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too. But that is not my confession. My confession is this: I'm a health psychologist, and my mission is to help people be happier and healthier. But I fear that something I've been teaching for the last 10 years is doing more harm than good, and it has to do with stress. For years, I've been telling people stress makes you sick. It increases the risk of everything from the common cold to cardiovascular disease. Basically, I've turned stress into the enemy. But I've changed my mind about stress. And today, I want to change yours. Let me start with the study that made me rethink my whole approach to stress. This study tracked 30,000 adults in the United States for 8 years. And they started by asking people, how much stress have you experienced in the last year? They also asked, do you believe that stress is harmful for your health? And then they used public death records to find out who died. Okay, some bad news first. People who experienced a lot of stress in the previous year had a 43% increased risk of dying. But that was only true for the people who also believed that stress is harmful for your health. People who experienced a lot of stress but did not view stress as harmful were no more likely to die. In fact, they had the lowest risk of dying of anyone in the study, including people who had relatively little stress. Now, the researchers estimated that over the 8 years they were tracking deaths, 182,000 Americans died prematurely, not from stress, but from the belief that stress is bad for you. That is over 20,000 deaths a year. Now, if that estimate is correct, that would make believing stress is bad for you the 15th largest cause of death in the United States last year, killing more people than skin cancer, HIV, AIDS, and homicide. You can see why this study freaked me out. Here I've been spending so much energy telling people stress is bad for your health. So this study got me wondering, can changing how you think about stress make you healthier? And here the science says yes. When you change your mind about stress, you can change your body's response to stress. Now, to explain how this works, I want you all to pretend that you are participants in a study designed to stress you out. It's called the social stress test. You come into the laboratory and you're told you have to give a 5-minute impromptu speech on your personal weaknesses to a panel of expert evaluators sitting right in front of you. And to make sure you feel the pressure, there are bright lights and a camera in your face, kind of like this. And the evaluators have been trained to give you discouraging nonverbal feedback, like this.
Huh.
Now that you're sufficiently demoralized, time for part 2, a math test. And unbeknownst to you, the experimenter has been trained to harass you during it. Now, we're gonna all do this together. It's gonna be fun, for me. Okay. I want you all to count backwards from 996 in increments of 7. You're gonna do this out loud as fast as you can, starting with 996. Go. Go faster. Faster, please. You're going too slow. Stop, 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 stop. That guy made a mistake. We're gonna have to start all over again. You're not very good at this, are you? Okay, so you get the idea. Now, if you were actually in this study, you'd probably be a little stressed out. Your heart might be pounding, you might be breathing faster, maybe breaking out into a sweat. And normally we interpret these physical changes as anxiety or signs that we aren't coping very well with the pressure. But what if you viewed them instead as signs that your body was energized, was preparing you to meet this challenge? Now, that is exactly what participants were told in a study conducted at Harvard University. Before they went through the social stress test, they were taught to rethink their stress response as helpful. That pounding heart is preparing you for action. If you're breathing faster, it's no problem. It's getting more oxygen to your brain. And participants who learned to view the stress response as helpful for their performance, well, they were less stressed out, less anxious, more confident. But the most fascinating finding to me was how their physical stress response changed. Now, in a typical stress response, your heart rate goes up and your blood vessels constrict like this. And this is one of the reasons that chronic stress is sometimes associated with cardiovascular disease. It's not really healthy to be in this state all the time. But in the study, when participants viewed their stress response as helpful, their blood vessels stayed relaxed like this. Their heart was still pounding, but this is a much healthier cardiovascular profile. It actually looks a lot like what happens in moments of joy and courage. Over a lifetime of stressful experiences, this one biological change could be the difference between a stress-induced heart attack at age 50 and living well into your 90s. And this is really what the new science of stress reveals, that how you think about stress matters. So my goal as a health psychologist has changed. I no longer want to get rid of your stress. I want to make you better at stress. And we just did a little intervention. If you raised your hand and said you'd had a lot of stress in the last year, we could have saved your life. Because hopefully the next time your heart is pounding from stress, you're going to remember this talk and you're going to think to yourself, this is my body helping me rise to this challenge. And when you view stress in that way, your body believes you and your stress response becomes healthier. Now, I said I have over a decade of demonizing stress to redeem myself from. So we are going to do one more intervention. I want to tell you about one of the most underappreciated aspects of the stress response. And the idea is this: stress makes you social. To understand this side of stress, we need to talk about a hormone, oxytocin. And I know oxytocin has already gotten as much hype as a hormone can get. It even has its own cute nickname, the cuddle hormone, because it's released when you hug someone. But this is a very small part of what oxytocin is involved in. Oxytocin is a neurohormone. It fine-tunes your brain's social instincts. It primes you to do things that strengthen close relationships. Oxytocin makes you crave physical contact with your friends and family. It enhances your empathy. It even makes you more willing to help and support the people you care about. Some people have even suggested we should snort oxytocin, right, to become more compassionate and caring. But here's what most people don't understand about oxytocin. It's a stress hormone. Your pituitary gland pumps this stuff out as part of the stress response. It's as much a part of your stress response as the adrenaline that makes your heart pound. And when oxytocin is released in the stress response, it is motivating you to seek support. Your biological stress response is nudging you to tell someone how you feel instead of bottling it up. Your stress response wants to make sure you notice when someone else in your life is struggling so that you can support each other. When life is difficult, your stress response wants you to be surrounded by people who care about you. Okay, so how is knowing this side of stress going to make you healthier? Well, oxytocin doesn't only act on your brain, it also acts on your body. And one of its main roles in your body is to protect your cardiovascular system from the effects of stress. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. It also helps your blood vessels stay relaxed during stress. But my favorite effect on the body is actually on the heart. Your heart has receptors for this hormone. And oxytocin helps heart cells regenerate and heal from any stress-induced damage. This stress hormone strengthens your heart. And the cool thing is that all of these physical benefits of oxytocin are enhanced by social contact and social support. So when you reach out to others under stress, either to seek support or to help someone else, you release more of this hormone, your stress response becomes healthier, and you actually recover faster from stress. I find this amazing that your stress response has a built-in mechanism for stress resilience. And that mechanism is human connection. I want to finish by telling you about one more study. And listen up, because this study could also save a life. This study tracked about 1,000 adults in the United States, and they ranged in age from 34 to 93. And they started the study by asking, how much stress have you experienced in the last year? They also asked, how much time have you spent helping out friends, neighbors, people in your community? And then they used public records for the next 5 years to find out who died. Okay, so the bad news first. For every major stressful life experience, like financial difficulties or family crisis, that increased the risk of dying by 30%. But, and I hope you are expecting a but by now, but that wasn't true for everyone. People who spent time caring for others showed absolutely no stress-related increase in dying, 0. Caring created resilience. And so we see once again that the harmful effects of stress on your health are not inevitable. How you think and how you act can transform your experience of stress. When you choose to view your stress response as helpful, you create the biology of courage. And when you choose to connect with others under stress, you can create resilience. Now, I wouldn't necessarily ask for more stressful experiences in my life, but this science has given me a whole new appreciation for stress. Stress gives us access to our hearts. The compassionate heart that finds joy and meaning in connecting with others. And yes, your pounding physical heart working so hard to give you strength and energy. And when you choose to view stress in this way, you're not just getting better at stress, you're actually making a pretty profound statement. You're saying that you can trust yourself to handle life's challenges. And you're remembering that you don't have to face them alone. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm assuming that was,
Yeah,
Oh,
they
wait.
asked her one question at the end, but that's
Oh.
okay because we covered everything that we really wanted to cover.
okay,
So
I
that's-
can go
that's
back
good.
to it quickly if you want.
Oh, right. I can't remember the question. I get so moved by it each time, so. What do you, is it okay or?
Yeah, it was, it was playing inside the Gmail window.
Oh, okay,
So that was the problem
sure.
there.
Well, that's okay. I just kind of want to
Here we go.
see. Okay,
I got it now. Sorry about that.
sorry.
If you've experienced relatively little
you can
stress,
trust yourself
anyone? To handle life's challenges. How about a moderate amount of stress? And
Uh-oh.
who's experienced a lot of stress? Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Me
started
too.
over.
But that is not my confession.
That's okay.
My confession
Okay.
is
Sorry about
this.
that. That's,
Yeah,
I'm
that's all right. That's all
and my
right.
mission is to help people be happier and healthier.
here we go. I
Seems
found
like
it.
You're
never
remembering
get-
that you don't
get
have
out
to
of
face
there.
them alone. Thank you.
There we go. Sorry about that. Are you guys seeing it now? Thought I'd close that window out.
Okay.
I mean, this is kind of amazing what you're telling us. It seems amazing to me that a belief about stress can make so much difference to someone's life expectancy. How would that extend to advice? Like if someone's making a lifestyle choice between, say, a stressful job and a non-stressful job, does it matter that which way they go, that it's equally wise to go for the stressful job so long as you believe that you can handle it in some sense?
Yeah, and one thing we know for certain is that chasing meaning is better for your health than trying to avoid discomfort. And so I would say that's really the best way to make decisions, is go after what it is that creates meaning in your life, and then trust yourself to handle the stress that follows.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you. There we go. Well, I don't know about you, but I was kind of like she was in the beginning when I saw this video. I've talked a lot about how stress affects our health, and the approach we've always taken is to kind of learn techniques to relax, which is also a major component in helping you open your blood vessels and kind of see those kind of things. And so, but when I saw this, it like changed my whole presentation for tonight, right? So it's just kind of interesting, and I'm wondering what people think about this. I mean, I don't know, I was taken aback. And so, and part of it is because, yeah, none of us want to be uncomfortable or in discomfort. And so to put myself out there in stressful situations is tough. It's not something I've gone after. And yeah, like she said, she wouldn't ask for more stressful situations. But when you think back over your life, probably, haven't you been in a lot of those? And so one, I'd like to talk, kind of spend a few minutes talking about what people thought about this video. And then, you know, maybe we can sum that up and decide an approach that we want to work on, because I do think learning other ways of deep breathing, relaxation. I know, Ginny, you're into yoga. Some of those things have been really helpful in helping us. But are there, you know, what do you think? So as we think about our life, I mean, there have been times when, yeah, money was short or whatever it was. And we do kind of put our head down and plug through it. And those aren't times that I would say, without seriously thinking about it, that they strengthened me. So what do other people think? Do you think stress has helped strengthen you? Pardon? Thank you. When we become open awareness, our ability to do necessary thinking gets sharper, and our whole sensory input gets brighter and clearer. After a certain amount of sitting, the world looks brighter, sounds are sharper, and there's a richness of sensory input, which is just our natural state if we're not blocking our experience with our tense, worrying mind. And so with awareness, I think awareness is the beginning of anything and everything, right? You can't change anything until you become aware of it. So that's why I kind of wanted to take next week and look at where we've come from, so to speak. You know, is this really a problem for us? Kind of what type of things do we worry about? And then maybe we can share a little bit more with each other. Hopefully you're becoming more comfortable, as I am, with the technology, and we can just talk a little. What do you think?
Gail, are you going to be talking about physical reactions to stress at another time?
I think we need to cover that, yes.
Yeah.
And what the way this program that I learned it was, we take the first maybe 3-4 sessions to just kind of become comfortable with stress is normal. And then we kind of look at how stress has impacted our life. And then kind of we also look at, are there techniques that we can use that will help us, right? So
Thank you.
Yeah, I've talked a
Because I
lot
have a
about.
question. I have a question about that that I want to ask or get your feedback on at some point. Thank you.
Yeah, good. And you certainly can email it to me beforehand, so I'm prepared. Because a lot of stuff, you know, like I said, as we're going through this, my mind doesn't always work quite as quick as I like. So if I have some backup material, it's helpful for me. But, you know, just one of the techniques we begin to talk about and a little bit more next week is just deep breathing. You know, my stepdaughter is really good at the beginning of every speech. She talks about being comfortable. And she says, you know, we have to take the power pose. And I'm like, what's the power pose? Power pose is where you throw your shoulders back, put your hands on your hip, and you take 3 deep breaths so that your stomach goes up, not your chest as much, but your stomach, right? And then you they used to say you count to 4, but actually you count to 7, or you take in to 7 and you blow out to 8. I have to check those numbers, but anyway, and so that you're always blowing out a little bit longer than you're breathing in, so that you can feel that. And the one thing that I like about deep breathing is you can do it any place at any time, and people don't really have to even notice it, right? To help kind of calm us down and think that we have more time than maybe we do, but it actually gives you time, and it lets you take a step back from your own feelings a little bit. So there's a lot of different things like that I think are pretty interesting. That is, I go through this material, I learn more and more. So good. Any other questions?
Could we go back to that one slide? The word stress was on there, and then after each letter was a little phrase. that was at the beginning.
Oh, sure. This one? Let's see, wait, I didn't share it. Okay. Share screen. This one. Okay, I think you're talking about this one.
Yeah, I think that's it.
This is the first one.
This one.
Someone trying to repair every situation solo.
Oh,
And I think-
that's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I think I could talk a lot about that, you know. As we try to control more and more things, we don't want to tell people we're trying to control it, right? So that's the other one. And then this one, Jenny, what's the second one? You see that?
oh yeah, I remember that one.
Mhm.
Thanks.
I'm gonna duck out here, but it's great to see everyone. I won't be able to be around for the next couple weeks. I've got a meeting next week and then I'm out of town the following week, but I'm happy that this group is taken off and people are engaging it. So good to be with you tonight. And
Good.
I will
Thank you.
see you here and there.
All right. Yeah, so this is just kind of one of the things that it didn't strike me because sometimes we let things happen to us, right? But if we look at once we become aware of that, then we can begin to look at what things we can change and what things we want to change. And then sometimes we just got to accept some things. But if we don't have awareness, we don't even realize it can change. Good. Anything else? I know you're, Kathy, you're going to the book club, right?
Yes.
Does anybody else have comments? I can never figure out what I'm doing here. Oh, stop sharing. There we go. We're still learning. So, yeah, good.